Some people send you flowers just because they love you, and other people send you flowers because they want you deceased. Now, with that being said, have you ever heard of Lita Sullivan from Atlanta, Georgia? If you have or have not heard of her, you got to know. We about to talk about it. Now, Lita was very educated, very beautiful, well connected, and well known in Atlanta, Georgia. And she came from a very prominent family. Now, later throughout life, she met this man by the name of James Sullivan, also known as Jim. They dated for a little while and they eventually went on to get married. Now, pay attention and stay with me now. Now, just a few years after being married, the marriage started marriaging. Child, they had allegations of cheating. They wanted to say that Jim was being controlling. They was arguing behind money. It was going crazy, honey. And then finally, Lita was like, fuck all this. I'm about to get the fuck up out of this marriage. So, in 1985, she filed for a motherfucking divorce. Now, off the bat, Lita knew that this wasn't going to be a real easy divorce. It was going to have to be a motherfucking fight. Because, you see, Jim was a fucking millionaire. Seemed like that would have made it a little bit easier, huh? They do say more money and more problems. Tell you the fuck what? Send me a motherfucking millionaire and bitch, I'll tell you. Anyhow, child, back to the story. Now, Lita felt like she was entitled to a large portion of their marital assets, right? And Jim didn't agree. Well, why the fuck not, Jim? You already a motherfucking millionaire. She just want the marital assets. Fuck, give them to her. But it didn't happen like that. And from there, the divorce battle started. And sure as shit stank, shit got ugly. Now, on the morning of January the 16th, 1987, Lita was at home getting dressed to get ready to go to court, right? And on this day in court, the judge was supposed to go over some financial issues surrounding the motherfucking divorce. But before Lita could leave out of her motherfucking house, tell me the fuck why somebody knocked at her motherfucking door holding a fucking long ass box, right? In the fucking box was a dozen of pink roses. Lita opened up the fucking door to get the roses. And just a few motherfucking seconds later, shots fired. This man, in fact, was not working for no flower delivery company. He just used the roses to get Lita to open the motherfucking door. Now, immediately after the shots was fired, bitch, the neighbors ran outside. This how you know they stayed in a real nice neighborhood, because neighbors don't normally run outside when they hear shots fired. You would get low. You would take cover. If you still watching this video, put "why neighbor" in the comment section. Anyhow, child, back to the story. Now, after the neighbors had ran outside, they called the motherfucking police to try to get Lita some help. But Lita had been hit in her head. She was rushed to the fucking hospital, but unfortunately she passed away due to her injuries. Now, of course, from here, the investigation began, and the first person that the police was gonna look at was motherfucking Jim, the estranged millionaire husband. But real quick, they had a fucking problem because Jim wasn't in Atlanta when this shit happened. He was in Palm Beach, Florida. So technically he had an alibi. Now, even though he may have had an alibi that was 100 miles away, the police wouldn't let that shit slide. They was like, you probably ain't do it your motherfucking self, but you got enough money to pay a motherfucker to do this shit for you. And as the investigation continued, the police noticed that Jim had got a fucking phone call from a truck stop right outside of Atlanta on the same day that Lita was unalived. But that phone call is not enough proof to send Jim to jail. And they didn't have no murder weapon either. So this caused the case to drag on for 10 motherfucking years. And Lita family ain't eased up. They was adamant on, I know Jim did something to her. But finally, a motherfucker started running their motherfucking mouth. Police was led to a young man named Philip Anthony Harwood, also known as Tony. When the motherfucking police went and talked to Tony, he admitted that he had unalived Lita. And according to Tony, Jim had hired him. According to prosecution, Jim had paid $25,000 to have Lita unalived. Tony took his lick and pled guilty to the unaliving of Lita. And this was all the police needed to go after Jim. But bitch, Jim was gone. I mean, out the country gone, bitch. He had them packed his shit up and moved to Thailand. For years, Jim had been able to stay under the radar. But when the police started searching for him internationally, they caught up with his ass. And they brought him right back to motherfucking Atlanta, Georgia. And in 2006, almost 20 motherfucking years after Lita's unaliving, he finally took his ugly ass to court. And Tony was there to testify against him, bitch. The jury said he was fucking guilty and the judge gave him life in jail with no possibility of motherfucking parole. That's too fucking long to find a motherfucker like this, but it's always a crazy motherfucker that always start talking. Condolences to Lita's family, friends, and associates.